Today on Phoenix Down RPG, talking about Xanathar's Guide
to Everything.
The Cleric Edition. Grave Domain.
Hi, I'm Teal.
And I'm Dylan.
And we're Phoenix Down
RPG.
And today we're talking about the other clerics in Xanathar's Guide.
And spells.
And the spells. Cleric of the Grave. Scary. But they're not necromancers.
No. In fact, they're basically the opposites, despite it being called the Grave. It's a bit confusing.
But there's a lot of fun stuff to dig in here, so let's get started.
Our domain spells for Unearthed Arcana and our domain spells for Xanathar's Guide are the same. So let's just hop through them real quick, because there's some goodies.
Bane and False Life at first level.
I'm not a fan of Bane.
It can be helpful.
It can. False Life, nice.
It's a really good spell.
Extra hit points, level 1, nice. Third level, Gentle Repose. This actually came up in a game of ours.
Yeah, but you failed to use it right.
Well, no, I used Gentle Repose right. I failed in my resurrection.
That's right.
Yeah, so...
Trying to keep my bard from going evil. Doesn't work.
Well, I was just trying to save your friend, that wizard. What was it? Is
Toomba?
Toomba and Pomone.
Pomone was still alive.
Pomone was still alive, but not Toomba. Tried to save him, Gentle Repose. Thought I was being really clever, threw him on a magic carpet. It was like, dead body following me around. Didn't work.
It was a good try. Then somebody stole his body is a whole big thing.
Yeah. But still, cool spell. It might come up. It's nice to have it kind of in your back pocket and not have to prepare it.
For when resurrection doesn't work.
Ray of Enfeeblement. Good
Helpful spell.
Good spell. Not normally on the cleric list. Thematically, necromantic. It's good. Fan.
Fifth level, Revivify, and Vampiric Touch.
What cleric doesn't carry Revivify with them? And now they don't have to have it on their, known spells.
They get it for free.
They get it for free.
Yay, freebies.
Freebies are awesome. Vampiric Touch. It's a good spell. And, it heals and deals.
Heals and deals.
Big fan. It is a touch attack, so, the cleric has to get up in their face.
Usually they are, though. 7th level, Blight.
Blight is bad.
That's a great spell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
We also have Death Ward.
Useful.
Quite.
Throw that up on your Orc Barbarian and he'll just never die.
Or throw it on your Sorcerer and keep them from dying.
I mean, you could do that. Anti-Life Shell for 9th level, and Raise Dead, so 2 big bad spells.
Lots of fun stuff on this list.
This is a really nice list. I don't like Bane, but that's my only complaint on this list.
I like Bane.
To each their own.
It's anti-bless.
It is anti-bless. Alright, so moving on to our first level features.
Circle of Mortality.
So mostly it's the same. The big difference
between Xanathar's Guide and Unearthed Arcana.
They kind of just clarify the amount of time it takes.
So it says, when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points with a spell to a creature at 0 hit points, you instead use the highest number possible for each dice. In addition, you learn the Spare the Dying cantrip, another spell, which doesn't count against any number of cleric cantrips you know. For you, it has a range of 30 feet, and you can cast it as a bonus action.
It's nice. You get a bonus spell, Spare the Dying. It's nice.
And as a bonus...
And you can cast it as a bonus action. Yeah. This is one of those cantrips I sometimes take with my characters, but then it's really hard to use, because it's like, do I stabilize someone, or do I kill something?
Kill something.
Well, usually there's...
Kill!
Yeah. Spare the Dying is mostly one of those spells that people tend to use out of combat. But the whole idea that you could do it as a bonus action, suddenly you could cast first level spell and then throw out Spare the Dying cantrip on your bonus action, that's pretty nice. That actually makes that spell more useful. It's useful. Of course, it kind of seems a little bit silly later because we'll get to potent spell casting.
Not there yet.
Not there yet.
Another thing you get at first level is Eyes of the Grave. They changed this one quite a bit between Unearthed Arcana and Xanathar's Guide.
Yeah, so in a way, they massively nerfed this because...
I mean, it was very powerful to begin with.
I mean, it gave the player a lot of information, which to a DM, they might have just been like, oh my, this ability lets you do what? You know how much? You know the CR ratings?
Yep, everything.
You know how many of them there are? How long is this range? A mile. Are you kidding me? So
it probably annoyed a lot of DMs, and maybe that's why they changed it.
This is how it was written in the Unearthed Arcana. If you spend 1 minute in uninterrupted contemplation, you can determine the presence and nature of undead creatures in the area. The detection extends up to 1 mile.
It's a big distance.
In all directions. You learn the number of undead and their distance and direction from you. In addition, you learn the creature type of the undead in that area that has the highest challenge rating. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's not super powerful. I mean,
it's not game breaking.
It's not really. It's just more information than an ability like that should really be giving a player. So I can see why they made some changes, and some of the changes are not that bad.
Well, they made it as an action now. You can open your awareness to magically detect the undead. Until the end of your turn, you know the location of any undead within 60 feet away from you that isn't behind total cover or protected from divination magic. So there's a bit of a caveat there.
Yeah.
This sense doesn't tell you anything about a creature's capabilities or identity.
No CR rating.
And then you can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So you can use it a few more times.
As a cleric is going to be probably pretty good.
Very wise.
What's interesting about this ability to me is, what if you are fighting that lich and he's like, I'm going to go invisible? Your cleric can find him with this ability. That's pretty cool. And, it could actually be useful then.
And you can use it a few times.
A couple times. It's
more like the paladin version.
Or primeval awareness with the ranger. It's similar to those other abilities because that's basically what it is. It's just like those other abilities, not the souped up, amped up version that they have in the Unearthed Arcana.
So it's a good change.
It's a good change. Alright, so...
Going on to the second level, Channel Divinity, Path to the Grave.
So,
it's darker, it's not divine, it's...
This one's pretty good. It's mostly the same, but they did change a little bit. In the Unearthed Arcana, it was a touch effect. In Xanathar's, it has a range of 30. So now you don't have to run up and touch them.
Tag.
And also, the curse only lasts to the end of the round. I guess they had a couple people metagaming, figuring out how to get this ability to get the most out of it. I could see that. And then also, this curse-like effect ends at the end of the turn regardless. It does not there permanently until the other conditions are met. So here's how it's written in Xanathar's. You mark another creature's life for termination. As an action, you choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you, cursing it until the end of your next turn. The next time you, or any ally, hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage, and then the curse ends.
So it's like Guiding Bolt.
It's like Guiding Bolt. I guess
it makes sense that they paired it to be similar.
I think the issue they had with Unearthed Arcana is, say people hit them with what's that spell that shoots like prismatic orb, maybe, where it's like, I'm gonna hit you with a dozen effects, and then that thing was like vulnerable to all of them, and you could just keep on hammering it for that turn with those different things.
Or if you had a party of 6, each of them would attack with the creature being vulnerable to all of their attacks, as opposed to this one where it's just one attack after this divinity that gets the vulnerability.
So if you want to hit that fire elemental with your flame tongue dagger, it's going to hurt it.
A lot. So it's good that they nerfed this one just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good change. It takes the power gamer out of the equation, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. How many times can you do? It's channel divinity, so I think clerics get like up to like 2 channels, I think. Maybe they get more at higher levels, I don't really remember, but I'll let you know in the comments.
The answer's right there.
Yep, it's going to be right here, or there.
Alright, moving on to our 6th level ability, Sentinel at Death's Door.
When you or an ally that you see within 30 feet of you suffers a critical hit, you can turn that attack into a normal hit. Any effects triggered by a critical hit are cancelled. So that's how it was put in Unearthed Arcana. The big change that they made was it was no longer you or your ally. I guess ally was not specific enough.
As a reaction, when you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you suffers a critical hit, you can turn that hit into a normal hit. Any effects triggered by a critical hit are cancelled, so you're not triggered.
I guess I made that change in language for like a ranger's beast or artificer's servant. Like, creature's fairly specific term, but it's broad in Dungeons and Dragons. So
it could be non-living entities.
Yeah, wouldn't just have to be you and Joe, the shield warrior over there. It could be, little mini Tarask over there with his ranger master.
Aww, mini Tarask.
Mini Tarask.
I want
one. So it's nice. You can do it as many times as your wisdom modifier. Denying the DM of a critical hit is satisfying. That's why people play Bard. Well, I guess, actually, Bards can't deny a Dungeon Master a critical hit. They can
they can.
No, because a critical hit always hits.
If they use cutting words, they reduce the number rolled. That's how it is.
Okay, well, depending on the table you're at, your DM isn't always going to go for that. But this ability is pretty clear.
I've used it that way before.
Because it literally says critical hits. I know, but I know we've been at tables where DM has been like, nope, hits.
Well, it's subject to the DM's interpretation of the rules, for sure.
All right.
Still a very nice, clearly worded indication of what this means.
In the ability. No argument there, no rules loring, that's just the ability. All right.
8th level, your favorite one.
Potent spell casting. I'm a Grave Domain Cleric. I have potent spell casting. Sacred Flame. It's more powerful than other Sacred Flames. Oh, he dodged. Oh, my 8th level ability sucks. I don't know. Spare the Dying. It's more powerful because I have potent spell. Oh, no, it doesn't do any damage.
So the downfall of potent spell casting is that it only affects your cantrips.
Only cantrips. Like, why would it have been broken to be like, your guiding bolt does an extra 4 points of damage? Like,
no, it wouldn't have been.
It's 4 points. Like, it would have been nice.
Plus, how many cantrips as a cleric do you have that do damage?
Now we have like 3, but before this book we had 1. Unless we had some class feature that allowed us to get more, because like the Arcana cleric could pull cantrips from the wizard and sorcerer spell list.
But still, as an 8th level ability, this is really weak. And
I don't like it.
Makes me not want to play the class in its entirety just from this one level.
And then you have all the dead levels around it. Ooh, Divine Intervention at level 10. Yeah, your god's not intervening. I'm
Your god doesn't like you today.
It's not going to happen. I mean, it would be epic if it did happen, but...
It happens sometimes. You have a 10% chance. Sometimes. It's a very minimal chance.
It's possible.
And whatever happens is totally up to the DM's discretion.
But it's an action. That's the problem with it. It's like, oh, do I heal my party that's about to die, or do I call on my god in hopes that they don't die?
And then you call on the god, and then they die anyway, because the god didn't answer.
Yeah. And then just like, and your party mates are looking, it's like, why didn't you heal me?
Fireball or shield? It's the ultimate question.
Clerics don't get fireball.
I know, but it was a reference, okay?
Okay.
But our point is that this 8th level is really not as powerful as it should be, especially for the cleric.
And it's their second highest subclass feature, because then we jump right to 17th level.
Keeper of Souls. Starting at 17th level, you can seize a trace of vitality from a parting soul and use it to heal the living. When an enemy you can see dies within 60 feet of you, you or one creature of your choice that is within 60 feet of you regains hit points equal to the enemy's number of hit dice. You can use this feature only if you aren't incapacitated. What can you do when you're incapacitated? Once you use it, you can't do it again until the start of your next turn. That's pretty lame. DM, how many hit dice did that dragon have?
Let me check my copious notes. Oh, not this one. Oh, no. Oh yes.
Time to get out the Dungeon Master Guide.
You get 3 hit points, because that was just a goblin.
Like, I loved the Cleric of the Grave up until level 8 and level 17 abilities, because those are just so weak. I want more.
The only really difference that they changed from Unearthed Arcana to this one is they extended the range from 30 to 60. But, like, this ability would be pretty strong if this was one of the early abilities, because, like, oh, you get a hit point for killing that creature? Like, that's kind of cool. I have another hit point now when I killed that kobold.
It's kind of like how some warlocks can get hit points from killing things.
Yeah, I would rather this be temporary hit points than wimpy-ass healing.
And the warlocks get a lot earlier.
Yeah. I don't... I love
so
the
not
name.
A fan.
Keeper of the Souls. That sounds badass. Ability? Not badass. It's more like Keeper of... Bleh. I don't know how that would be spelled. I'll put it right here. Yeah, so that's our look on the Cleric of the Grave. Thematically, it's awesome. Like,
it's a great idea, especially for role-playing.
Especially if the death domain didn't really fill the niche that you were hoping for. This is kind of like anti-undead, and death domain is more dead. So this is more like that area in between life and death.
It's the balance between the two.
And, you know, you get Revivify as a free spell. I think you get...
And Vampiric Touch.
I think you also get Raise Dead. So, like, that's... The spell list is really good. I really like the spell list. I like some of the early level abilities. This might be a case where I play a Grave Cleric up to, like, what, 6th level?
6?
And then
no,
multi-class.
level 7 for Blight and Death Ward.
Oh, maybe up to 7.
And then switch to a Paladin or something.
Something.
It's not worth it to stick it out to level 17 to get 5 hit points from killing something. Alright, now on to another fun part. We're going to talk about spells. Magic. So in Xanathar's Guide, we get 7 spells for the Cleric list, and we get some really awesome ones.
It is the shortest list of extra spells.
Doesn't mean that it's not really good.
It's true. There's
Size
some
isn't
goodies.
everything.
Yep, that's true.
All right, let's start with our cantrips. Our first one is a necromancy cantrip, Toll the Dead. This is a really fun one.
Yeah, for those people that play clerics and are sick of Sacred Flame.
But it's a fire, right?
And it never hits. Because you know what your DM's like throwing at you at first through like 6th level? Spiders. Goblins. You know, things that are dexterous.
Oh yeah, I should throw in some goblins, huh?
Yeah. Toll the Dead has a range of 60 feet, and it's a wisdom saving throw.
It's nice. Wisdom. Something a little bit different.
A little less common than Dex. So it is, once again, an all-or-nothing cantrip, which I really wish they would give the clerics one cantrip that is just an attack roll, because chances are they would hit more often. When you have a modifier, it helps. And when they're making saving throws, generally creatures or monsters or bad guys have a modifier, which helps them succeed them.
Yep.
Ranged attacks, it kind of works the same way. You get to use your modifier. However, Toll the Dead, pretty potent. Especially if you have potent spellcasting. I mean...
Yay.
It does a D8 damage, and if they have taken any damage, instead of a D8, it does a D12. So if they're hurt, it hurts them worse.
Which is
pretty
awesome.
good. In range of 60 feet?
It's pretty far.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
That's a good cantrip.
I mean...
It's a great cantrip.
And I kind of wish, you know, selfishly, that it was exclusive to the clerics, because this is a really good cantrip, but some of the other classes have access to this if they so choose. They'll still just choose Firebolt, but this is a nice alternative.
Yeah.
So we have another cantrip called Word of Radiance.
Mm-hmm. And this is an evocation spell.
And this one's really cool because it's an AoE.
Yay!
Yeah, so Words of Radiance.
Another cantrip that we have is Word of Radiance Evocation. It's an action, only 5 feet distance though. You utter a divine word, and burning radiance erupts from you. Each creature of your choice you can see within range must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 damage. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Swarmed by zombies, just do that. Hit everyone that's around you.
So yeah, it's an AoE effect, which is awesome. It's limited to 5 feet around you, but I mean, if you're surrounded, you could hit a lot of people with it. And con, it's better than Dex. Con still, a lot of things are going to pass that. But
it's still a nice ability and feature. 1d6 damage is still good.
Yep.
Not as great as Toll the Dead, but
I mean,
it's still a good flavor.
Potent spellcasting, which your cleric certainly does, you could be adding like 3 or 4 to every attack.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying, you could be hitting like, how many
9?
squares around you? 9? You could hit 9 people and do...
Oh no, 8 squares are around
8 squares? So you could do 36 points of damage just from potent spellcasting if you have an 18.
Anyway, moving on to
It's not going to ever happen.
Moving on to our first level spell, we have a big one, Ceremony. This is an abjuration ritual spell. It takes an hour to cast. It's a touch spell, costs 25 gold. This has a couple different ones going on. You perform a special religious ceremony, makes sense, that is infused with magic. When you cast a spell, choose one of the following rites. The target must be within 10 feet of you throughout the entire casting. So the first one is Atonement. You touch one willing creature whose alignment has changed, and you make a DC 20 Wisdom Insight check. On a successful check, you restore the target to its original alignment. That could be very useful. Yeah,
players don't like it when their alignments change, even though most of the time they're not really paying attention to their alignment, but the DM's like, dude, you're not good. You're definitely neutral at best.
But that's not how I rolled my character.
Yeah. Dear.
So then befriend a cleric with the spell and they can help you get back to normal.
Throws it back into the player's control.
Then you can be evil again and get punished by your DM again.
But I'm a good guy.
Another ceremony you can do is bless water. Hey, this makes sense, and I've been wondering why clerics can't do this forever.
Yeah.
You touch one vial of water and cause it to become holy water. Instant vampire repellent.
I mean, don't you just have to do this or something over water?
Well, it takes an hour.
An hour?
You are really holifying this water.
Okay, I'm bored.
So very useful, especially if you're fighting vampires or other bad guys that don't like holy water.
Whoever they are.
Another ceremony you can do is coming of age. You touch one humanoid who is a young adult. For the next 24 hours, whenever the target makes an ability check, it can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the ability check. A creature can benefit from this right only once.
It's cool.
Yeah. I don't think it would come up that much in a campaign.
I mean, if you're running a campaign for some kids, it could be fun to do this and be like, hey guys, you know, here's your introduction to D&D. Also, you all get to add a D4.
Quinceañera.
Yeah. It's like you guys have just graduated ninja training school. I'm just thinking Naruto right now. And just like, you guys are shinobi. Go out there and save the village from bad guys. And you guys are just going to do great today because you're hyped up on soda and cake.
You just graduated from the Padawan Academy of Cuteness.
Yes.
Here's an extra D4.
Not the younglings, Anakin.
No.
Not the younglings.
I have seen a security hologram of him killing younglings.
Not Anakin.
Alright, another fun ceremony that you can control, or that you can cast, is dedication. You touch one humanoid who wishes to be dedicated to your god's service. For the next 24 hours, whenever the target makes a saving throw, it can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the save. A creature can benefit from this right only once.
I could definitely see this one coming up.
I mean, Vax basically wanted this from Pike until he went to the darkness.
There were numerous people in Critical Role that basically, towards the end, were asking, I
want a god to sponsor me.
I've never thought that gods were, like, cool, but, like, you know, Ceremony was okay, but, like, the other ones, can I be your, like, blessed warrior, please?
We're gods, but wait, no, we're not, because I want your power. You won't give it to me?
Oh, that time I jumped off a cliff yelling about how I'm God,
I'm really humble.
That was like a fever dream.
I want to serve you now.
Oh, humility.
So this is a fun little ceremony. 2 more to go. Next one is funeral rites.
Funeral. Dun, 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 dun. You touch one corpse. Yay!
Touching corpses.
And for the next 7 days, the target can't become undead by any means short of a wisp spell.
Oh, man, I wish this corpse is undead.
I mean, I suppose this could actually serve a valid purpose. Like, imagine you're the town's cleric, and your job is basically to make sure that the necromancer and the evil forest, doesn't just raise a bunch of people and attack the town, and this way, you know, you can bury them. And
well, it only lasts for 7 days, but still.
Yeah, but maybe
hopefully enough to get rid of the necromancer.
Well, you figure if 7 days you could put it on like consecrated ground, and that necromancer isn't going to be able to raise it up.
That's true.
It's nice.
It's a ceremony. It makes sense that it's under the spell.
I could see it. It may come up in a game. I don't see it coming up in mini games, but if you're running around, there's people popping up that were dead. This could be a useful deterrent. Mm-hmm. Undead deterrent.
Well, I know this next ceremony is definitely going to come up in games, especially for power gamers.
Is there an annulment spell? No. This is forever. You touch adult humanoids willing to be bonded together in marriage.
Marriage.
Very specific language here, people. Don't get bent out of shape.
Yep.
Humanoids. For the next 7 days, each target gains a +2 bonus to AC while they are within 30 feet of each other. Oh, that's sweet. The creature can benefit from this right again only if widowed. So,
well, does that mean if they die and then they come back?
So
or they have to like permanent.
I guess if a power gamer really wanted to exploit this, they would marry someone every 7 weeks, and on the 8th day they would murder their spouse.
Yeah, I guess you just have to keep killing people. Kill your spouse, marry someone new. That's a really dark, evil creature.
Just saying.
What cleric's gonna keep blessing you for that?
I don't know, maybe a cleric of death.
Hey, death doesn't mean evil.
Or does it?
Alright, so there's a lot going on in that first level spell. Let's jump on to our third level spell, Life Transference. This one's a really cool one.
Yeah, so this one is a necromantic one. And it's nice because there really weren't a whole lot of options for that dark-themed cleric before. It's like, oh, you have Cure Wounds and Bless, and so Life Transference. This one's really cool and potentially really useful. You sacrifice some of your health to mend another creature's injuries. You take 4d8 necrotic damage. That's pretty steep, but there's a payoff. One creature of your choice that you can see within range, and it's a 30-foot range, they regain a number of hit points equal to twice the necromantic damage you take. So, if you roll max damage, they're taking double that. Well, what do we got going on? Not a bad roll.
I rolled 22, so my cleric just hurt themselves so bad for 22 points of damage. But then they gave 44 points of healing to the poor sorcerer over there in the corner who's dying.
Yep. I wonder if this spell... This reminds me of the Warlock ability in World of Warcraft, where you could or the Beastmaster one as well, where you could channel your life force to your minion, so it could take damage better, but it's at the cost of your own life, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's blood magic.
Yeah, it's basically the closest thing there is to blood magic in D&D right now.
Some blood magic.
And you could conceivably really hurt yourself, and it could be problematic, but you could also massively heal someone as a third-level spell that you just can't get this kind of healing from another spell.
I mean, at most you do 32 points of damage to yourself, which is significant.
It is.
But then you heal 64 points of damage, which is huge.
Yeah.
Now we're on to our 5th level spells. Our first one is Dawn.
Which, initially, when I saw this spell, I was like, don't we already have a spell that kind of fills this with sunlight? But it is a little bit different.
It costs gold. 100 gold.
It's not cheap.
It's an action, 60 feet range, concentration up to a minute. The light of dawn shines down on a location you specify within range. Until the spell ends, a 30-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder of bright light glimmers there. This light is sunlight. When the cylinder appears, each creature in it must make a con saving throw or take 4d10 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. A creature must also make the saving throw whether it ends its turn in the cylinder. And if you're within 60 feet of the cylinder, you can move it up to 60 feet as a bonus action.
Yeah, that's pretty mobile.
It's more mobile than Moonbeam.
In 30 feet
and it's
radius,
a lot like Moonbeam.
That's a big area. So you could just decimate a group of enemies with this. I mean, yeah. I mean, the cleric needed some nuke spells. It doesn't have a fireball, and
I think this is a lot better than a fireball in some regards.
What's the one that they do have? I forget. I only ever got to cast it a few times because revivify and raise dead, and everyone
Heal
always
me, Cleric.
dying.
Heal me, Cleric. I need healing.
Yes, so
Medic.
you get a lot of that at the table.
Why didn't you heal me? You're supposed to heal me.
Flame Strike, which is kind of the bread and butter nuke spell for a warlock. Let's just take a quick
Cleric?
look at. Yeah.
You said warlock.
Did I say warlock?
Yeah.
Cleric. Creature takes, if they fail their dexterity saving throw, they take 4d6 fire damage and 4d6 radiant damage versus
Forces
4d10. I mean, but this is a concentration effect. Flame Strike is a one and done dexterity saving throw spell. Dawn's better.
A lot
It's
better.
better. I'd much rather use that spell than Flame Strike. Alright, so we got another 5th level spell. Holy Weapon. It's a concentration effect. You can cast as a bonus action, which is nice because then you can make your weapon strike with it. Or, I mean, as we talked about, you could actually imbue this into someone else's weapon.
But you have to touch their weapon.
Yeah, so it is a touch effect. Concentration up to 1 hour. Concentration. You imbue a weapon you touch with holy power. Until the spell ends, the weapon emits bright light in a 30-foot radius, and dim light for an additional 30 feet. It's kind of like, that magic sword. I can't think of it right now. And the magic mace in the DMG. It's just, you imbue it with those properties. And in addition, weapon attacks made with it deal an extra 2d8 radiant damage on a hit. That's pretty
good.
potent. I mean, 5th level spell, concentration, your weapon's now doing 2d8. Too bad you're a cleric and you only get 1 attack.
Well, also, if you're hitting them, you might lose your concentration. But if you concentrate on somebody else's and you're away from the battle,
Yeah.
it could work really well.
If the weapon isn't already a magic weapon, it becomes 1 for the duration.
Take that, Black Puddings.
Honestly, they could have just stopped right there, but there's more.
More!
As a bonus action on your turn, you can dismiss this spell and cause the weapon to emit a burst of radiance. Ooh, so you could actually,
Flavor.
So if you're concentrating on the effect, you hand it to someone, they run into a crowd of bad guys, you can just be like, detonate.
I mean, you could. That's kind of a terrible friend.
D&D is full of terrible friends. And good ones, but terrible friends. Each creature of your choice that you can see of your choice. Okay. When we read this earlier, I didn't see that part. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 4d8 radiant damage.
That's a lot of radiant damage.
And is blinded for 1 minute. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage and isn't blinded, and then they can make saves every round after to end the effect of blind.
So a very cool spell.
Yeah, I mean, I thought if they blew their hammer up that everyone would get hit with radiant damage and blind, but
It would make sense if they did.
Yeah, but it's a 5th level spell. Magic breaks the rules. They're the cheat codes of the game. Alright, so we got the biggie. The Granddaddy spell.
7th level.
This one's a big one.
Temple of the Gods.
And it's just that.
It's a conjuration spell.
You literally create a Temple of the Gods.
Mm-hmm.
And they added a bunch of these. I guess people were really jealous of the Mordecai's mansion. And they were just like,
or the Leopold's tiny hut.
Well, yeah, but
the mansion's better.
You got a little hut, and then you got a mansion, and now you got a full-on temple.
Takes an hour to cast. The range is 120 feet. It costs 5 gold.
It's not bad.
It's not much at all.
It's not bad at all.
And it lasts for 24 hours. You cause a temple to shimmer into existence on ground. Ooh. You can see within range. The temple must fit within an unoccupied cube of space, up to 120 feet on each side. The temple remains until the spell ends. It is dedicated to whatever god, pantheon, or philosophy is represented by the holy symbol used in its casting. You can make all decisions about the temple's appearance. The interior is enclosed by a floor, walls, and a roof. I guess they had to specify that.
Yep, you're cosmetically responsible for everything.
With one door granting access to the interior and as many windows as you wish. Only you and any creature you designate when you cast a spell can open or close the door.
I'm just saying, if I was a DM and my player cast this, I would make them describe it. Make them describe this.
The temple's interior is an open space with an idol or altar at one end. You decide whether the temple is illuminated and whether that illumination is bright light or dim light. The smell of burning incense fills the air within, and the temperature is mild. The temple opposes types of creatures you choose when you cast a spell. Choose one or more of the following: celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. How about all of them? If a creature of the chosen type attempts to enter the temple, that creature must make a charisma saving throw. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, generally a lot of those, well, not undead, but fays and infernals, and they might pass that, but...
On a failed save, it can't enter the temple for 24 hours. Even if that creature can enter the temple, the magic here hinders it. Whenever it makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw inside the temple, it must roll a d4 and subtract that number rolled from the d20.
It's got Bane on it.
Instant Bane. In addition, the censors created by divination spells can't appear inside the temple, and creatures within cannot be targeted by divination spells. Finally, whenever any creature in the temple regains hit points from a spell of first level or higher, the creature regains additional hit points equal to your wisdom modifier.
Bonus healing.
Nice. The temple is made from opaque magical force that extends into the ethereal plane, thus blocking ethereal travel into the temple's interior. Nothing can physically...
No blinking.
Nope. Nothing can physically pass through the temple's exterior. It can't be dispelled by dispel magic, and anti-magic field has no effect on it.
Anti-magic field? Wow.
A disintegrate spell destroys the temple instantly.
Dang, that's mean.
And then a fun little bit, casting the spell in the same spot every day for a year makes this effect permanent.
And
Permanent temple.
5 gold a day, that's not unaffordable. It's not cheap, but...
It's less than 1,000 gold.
I mean, you're essentially building with magic.
So a very fun spell that you can basically choose your battleground with the big bad.
Yep. It allows players to really set the stage and allows the DM to bring a bunch of bad monsters because the players are going to be prepared. It's nice. I love it. I'm glad that a couple of their classes got similar things with like the Wizard's Tower and the Druid's Grove. They all have their own little niche. And I don't know. I'd be really excited to see this happen in the game because it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
A lot of fun possibilities with this spell and the other spells on the Cleric list for Xanathar's Guide.
This has been our Cleric episode, so tell us what you think in the comments below. Feel free to tweet at us about what you would like to see us discuss next. We're going to hop around. We did Clerics because it was my favorite class. We did Sorcerers because it was her favorite class.
So what's next? Help us decide.
Yeah. Cool. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.